बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। हम अपने अगले सेशन की तरफ हैं और हमें ज्वाइन किया है सेनेटर मुशाहिद हुसैन सैयद साहब ने। ही इज चेयरमैन Senate Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and chairman Pakistan China Institute. Welcome, Senator Saab.
It's a pleasure to join your webinar on such an important issue of COVID-19 and the response of different countries, especially China. Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, it's pleasure. We have had 2 sessions and we have 2 experts from China and a couple of experts from Pakistan as well. And they will be joining us for 3rd session in a couple of seconds, I believe, shortly. And meanwhile, we would like to hear from Dr. Zahur Bazai. He is in Balochistan. Let us brief Dr. Zahur Bazai. Let us know what is the situation has been in Balochistan before lockdown and after it was eased. Dr. Zahur Bazai from Balochistan.
Thank you very much, Munir Saab. The situation in Balochistan is rather same or more difficult, I would say, in Balochistan as compared to other provinces in Pakistan. The situation I have seen and I have observed in Ramadan and late Ramadan and during Eid, I felt like people are celebrating this Eid. God forbid, this is the last Eid of their lifetime. And everybody was out of their home. Everybody was doing their shoppings. No SOP followed. I can feel that the situation could be same in other provinces, but in Balochistan, where we call ourselves as more cultured and tribal area. So people feel that they feel this is their faith on Allah. Nothing will happen if we will continue with these religious and cultural activities. So anyhow, situation is worst, but since I'm from academia, and in academia, we are feeling that the kids, the children, and particularly in higher education systems, the situation for education in Balochistan, the system is already very much dilapidated. And mostly we say that, I don't want to repeat this, but this is in fact to some extent, this is true that Balochistan is the area, the underdeveloped area of underdeveloped country. So we do face so many challenges. And particularly if we talk about the nexus between this COVID situation and higher education, the situation is not very much satisfactory. So in universities, we are striving hard to have our online education system. Right. And for that reason, I would say that in Balochistan, there are 3 or 4 districts where we do not have any system of online or even the system of the net connectivity is not available there.
Right.
Due to the security reasons, maybe. So okay. Thank you very much. I guess that's
thank you, Dr. Zahur Bazai. I hope like the situation would improve and Balochistan will get more IT infrastructure very soon. And now I would like to go to Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayyid Saab. Thank you so much, Mushahid Saab, for joining us on this very important discussion, because at the time the world is facing very intense and widespread coronavirus, and death toll is rising. Even in Pakistan, we have seen that in like 3 weeks of time, our infection has risen from 12,000 to 65,000 today. And this began with more flexible precautionary measures, like we opened up, frankly speaking, from mosque at in a decision taken by the President of Pakistan with the consent of our religious scholars. That was the beginning of the lockdown. Even we had no strict lockdown even earlier. Moshai Saab, your take on from the day one when we decided to go lockdown and government logged horn with the provincial governments, and then giving more flexible conditions to to mosque, and then to the easing the lockdown. These four steps. What is your take, sir?
I think there has been confusion from day one on what should be our approach. We talk of a lockdown, then we talk of a smart lockdown, then we talked of whether it's a curfew or not. It's like saying, pardon my saying so much, like saying a woman is half pregnant. Either you have a lockdown or you do not have a lockdown. In Wuhan, they decided on a lockdown on 23rd January. And the lockdown was not just Wuhan, it was Hubei province also, which is 60 million people. And Wuhan has 11 million people. So tuck, decisions were taken. Complete lockdown, quarantine, testing, and tracing, and contact tracing. So you had a complete strategy. I think we were in bits and pieces. We did not realize the threat. We were behaving like Trump and Boris Johnson. We thought this will just go away. Maybe if we pray hard, or if we say, inshallah, it will not be there, it will not be there. And I think that when we really woke up to the reality, then there were double-mindedness. So there was no clarity of messages. So you need decisive leadership, which can take timely measures, and clarity of policy. And then also, you do not have to lock horns, as you say, with any government, because this is a collective issue. This is not about one government or one federal government or provincial government or party or opposition. This is a national crisis affecting the people of Pakistan above party lines. So I think instead of name calling, instead of opposing anybody, so our approach, I think, left a lot to be desired. But I would still say right now, although it's rising, by and large in South Asia, whether it's India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, things so far have not spun out of control. Although I agree with our friend from Balochistan that people in Pakistan are not taking it that seriously. And they feel that this is, some people are even conspiracy theorists. Some are imagining that maybe it's just a bad kind of a flu which will go away. So I think the gravity of the crisis has not been understood either by the government and not really conveyed to the people at large also. The messaging should have been very clear, and the messaging was not there, I'm sorry to say.
Sir, what are the main points to learn from China?
I think, first of all, what were the factors for China's success story? As I said, the leadership of President Xi Jinping, Premier Li Keqiang, they led from the front. They were very clear. They took decisive measures. Secondly, clarity of policy. There was no oohs and ahs about lockdown or smart lockdown or curfew. They had these decisions. Thirdly, a healthcare system of governance which is successful. 42,000 Chinese medical workers came from all over China to Wuhan to help out. And then what did they do? The Chinese government said it's a people's war. The support and cooperation of the people of China. That is extremely important. So I think these 3 or 4 factors was extremely important in really coordinating with this whole thing. And I think that made a whole difference. And then the people fully cooperated. The messaging was very clear. And then they used high technology. When you stop the cell phone, in contact tracing, in ensuring people who were quarantined, then there were voluntary workers also. They built 2 hospitals in Wuhan, one in 10 days, one in 12 days, record time. And there were 34,000 workers working overtime, even during the Chinese New Year holidays, end of January, for building of these hospitals. So it was, I think, a national effort. It was a war effort. They took it seriously. It was like wartime, not peacetime. I think, jaise Urdu mein kehte hain, halat-e-jang mein the. Or that is how they have beaten the problem. People were saying that 500 million people in China can be affected, herd immunity and so forth. But they controlled the virus, they controlled the problem. And then on top of that, they helped countries like Pakistan, the countries like Italy or Serbia or Iran or other Asian countries or Venezuela with medical equipment, with medical workers, with protective gears, with testing kits and so forth. So China has been a remarkable success story. And I would also like to add that overall the success of Asian countries like China, South Korea, Singapore has been better in terms of handling coronavirus than Western countries like the US or UK or or Italy or Spain. So I think that also is a very important thing. Asia has done better in handling this crisis than the Western countries. And unfortunately, there has been many demonization and stigmatization of China. They're trying to use the pandemic as a political weapon, especially the United States against China, which is quite deplorable, I'm sorry to say. And but I think the speech of President Xi Jinping at the World Health Assembly was very important. And China has said that if and when a vaccine is developed, it will be shared globally for the public good of all countries. And yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It means like the
Yes,
steps that
I completed my statement.
Sir, thank you. If panelists and participants have any question to Senator Mushahid Hussain Sayed, they may ask. Please introduce yourself and ask your question if you have to ask to Senator Saab.
Yes, most welcome.
Amna, do you have any question? Mushahid Saab, before if they don't have any question, but I would like to ask you, as a senator, you move in the power corridors. Don't you think it was not confusion? The federal government and their allied parties were pursuing a herd immunity in Pakistan, silently, secretively. Mushahid Hussain Sayed Saab. Sir, I can't hear you. Mushahid Saab? We can't hear Mushahid Saab. I think he has some connectivity issue. And with this, I would like to call off this webinar. Thank you so much, participants, Dr. Shin Wang from Xi'an, and Malik Saab from Beijing, and Tariq Mughal Saab from Rawalpindi, Dr. Mahmood Rahman Sahab, and Dr. Amna Hassan. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope next webinar will be next Saturday, inshallah, and hope you guys will join us. I would like to conclude, it's not about the faith that you have. It's about the efforts and the practice that you do. Preemptive measures are more important than believing Allah khair karega. Allah khair definitely will do, but after you have taken your precautionary measures. And with this message, I think I should conclude it here. Thank you so much.